The movie starts in a high-security federal prison in Colorado. An inmate named Ray Breslin is approached by a fellow inmate who warns him about someone named Jax. According to him, Jax is about to start a fight with Ray. The next day, like the inmate had said, Jax attacks Ray but is soon overpowered by him. Ray wins the fight, but because of the commotion, the prison guards put him into the isolation area of the prison. It is a high-security area that only the dangerous inmates are brought into. Ray is then put into a tiny room with no windows and only a toilet. He is also watched upon at all times through a security camera. The only possession he is allowed to have is a Bible. Ray quickly begins to devise a plan to escape from the prison. He has already analyzed the layout of the prison and found that the high-security area is beside the fire garage. Next, he notices that the prison is short on guards, which makes his work easier. For several days, Ray watches the guards and figures out their regular behavioral pattern includes going out to smoke for exactly 7 minutes. With these pieces of information, Ray figures out what time and way would be the best to escape from. Now he only has to find a way to somehow get the passcode to his high-security prison door. For this, he tears a thin layer of plastic from the chocolate milk packaging that he is given with every meal. He sneakily lays the plastic on the touchpad and acquires the series of numbers of the passcode. With the numbers in hand, it is easy for him to figure out the sequence. He also manages to inform his team outside the prison to create a distraction at exactly 4 on the day he will escape. Finally, he executes the plan one day. As the guards go for a smoke break, he uses the passcode to get out of the cell. Then through a vent he enters the unguarded fire garage. At this moment his team causes a fire outside the prison as a distraction. The firemen take the fire brigade outside and Ray manages to go out with them by latching himself to the bottom of the vehicle. After finally getting out of the prison, Ray drives away with his teammates, Abigail and Hush. They leave him by the side of a telephone booth where the police eventually find and arrest him. However, before they can take Ray back to the prison, a man named Lester Clark arrives at the scene and talks to the guards to let Ray go. In the following scene we see Lester and Ray talk to the prison head. It is finally revealed that Ray is actually the founder of a security firm called Breslin Clark that tests the security measures of prisons. He is not a criminal but a businessman who goes to several prisons as an inmate to check if they are escape-proof. Over the years he has garnered a reputation as the man who can escape any prison. The prison guard is beyond surprised and thankful for Ray's feedback on how they can make the prison security better. After the meeting, Ray goes to his office for the first time in 5 months. He is greeted by his friends and employees, Abigail and Hush. His business partner Lester has scheduled a meeting with CIA operative Jessica Miller. She wants Ray to test a new top-secret prison for disappeared persons on the condition that Ray and his team cannot know the prison's true location. She offers him millions of dollars for the deal, but Ray is skeptical of the idea. He only agrees to go when his partner Lester requests him. They provide him with a fake identity of a Spanish terrorist for hire named Anthony Portos. On the day he is supposed to go to the prison, Abigail places a tracker on his arm as per protocol. However, things start going south when he is kidnapped and drugged to be put in prison, so its location remains anonymous. His abductors also painfully bring out the tracker from his arm as Ray loses consciousness. When he wakes up, Ray finds himself in a glass cell on top of a platform. Around him are several similar cells with prisoners in them. They are being watched through moving cameras. Ray is then brought to meet the prison warden Hobbs, who introduces himself. Ray is confused because he was told the prison warden is a person named Marsh. Knowing something is off, Ray cites his evaluation code, which is supposed to get him out of the prison in case of an emergency. However, the warden completely ignores it and declares him an inmate. Outside the prison, Abigail and Hush try their best to find Ray's location. While back in the prison, the inmates are told to evacuate to the Babylon area. The guards all wear identical masks and are allowed to hit any inmate they dislike. A while later, Ray is approached by another inmate named Emil, who warns him to not get killed. He also says that he hasn't committed any crime and was simply imprisoned because some people want to get the information about his boss Mannheim from him. Ray now starts to believe that this prison doesn't hold federal criminals but is a torture chamber that rich people send their enemies to. He plans to investigate further in the isolation area, so Ray and Emil start a fight to be sent there. The warden sees this from the cameras and is almost excited to have them fighting. Soon they are sent to the isolation area, which is a tiny room and substitute for a torture chamber. The room acts like an oven with a temperature higher than a human being can handle. It is intended to disorient and dehydrate prisoners with high-powered halogen lights. The warden watches the two suffer in the heat through the cameras. After a day in the chamber, a prison doctor named Dr. Kyrie visits Ray. He seems sympathetic to him but doesn't answer when Ray asks him their location. After the session, Emil and Ray are let out of the room. During his time in the chamber, Ray has found out that the cell floors have rivets of steel instead of more secure aluminum. So he asks Emil to acquire a metal plate that he can use to open the rivets. On Emil's next meeting with the warden, he is asked about his boss Mannheim again. Emil deliberately makes the warden mad and guards forcefully shove a water pipe down his throat. While he is being tortured, Emil manages to get a piece of metal. After the meeting, he demands to know Ray's plan in turn for the favor. Ray reveals that he has been analyzing the structure of the prison and has come to a conclusion that the place is underground. So if he gets the bolts out and makes his way upward, he might be able to reach the surface. After hearing his plan, Emil believes that Ray can help him escape. They quickly execute the plan and start a fight to be sent back to the isolation chamber. There, Ray begins to open the rivet while hiding from the camera. After he is done, he bangs the chamber to signal Emil to distract the guards again. Emil starts to scream, making everyone look at him while Ray blocks his camera with a paper ball he had in his mouth. He finally gets into the vent and makes his way outside. On his way, he accidentally breaks a pipe, making the chamber fill with water. When Ray finally gets outside, he is surprised to see that the prison is in a massive cargo ship in the middle of the ocean. He quickly goes back in before anyone can see him. The water leak causes the isolation chambers to flood, which distracts the guards and makes it easy for him to get back without being caught. In the following scene, we see Ray's friends Abigail and Hush talk to Lester about Ray's disappearance. They see that the check Ray had been provided for his work has bounced. Moreover, the woman who offered Ray the job is out of contact. They ask Lester to run a search, but the man dismisses them, claiming that Ray is doing his job. After the two leave, we see Lester calling the prison warden and asking him to keep Ray in the prison for the rest of his life. It turns out that Lester wants to have the company to himself and be its sole owner. So he had set up the fake deal to get Ray to the prison and keep him there forever. However, Abigail and Hush do not give up and keep looking for Ray. Hush finds out about an illegal private-owned prison named the Tomb that people put their enemies in. It is in fact the prison that Ray is in, but Hush doesn't find the prison's location. Back in the prison, Ray and Emil start to analyze the guards' routine, which is difficult for them because the guards all wear identical masks. They do it for several days and figure out some important details about their schedule. Now they have to figure out what part of the world they are in so they can devise an escape plan. For this, Ray tries to ask the prison doctor for help, but he refuses to do so. Hence, instead he sneaks out a cardboard paper to use it as a makeshift sextant and determine the ship's latitude. However, they will have to be on the top of the deck to make the sextant work. So Ray and Emil ask a Muslim inmate Javed Afridi to help them with the plan. Later, Javed offers to be the warden's spy. In turn, he asks the warden to let him pray to Allah in the open air. Not knowing his true intentions, the warden agrees and lets him go outside. Afridi then uses the sextant and figures out the latitude of the ship. Using this information, Ray deduces that they are in the Atlantic Ocean near Morocco. He and Emil are still not sure about the location, but they have to think of a plan soon. Emil says that he has a friend in Morocco who owes him big time. If they somehow get a message to him, he and his group will surely come to save them. Ray again meets the prison doctor and persuades him to help them. Later at night, the doctor sends Emil's friend an email, giving him their location. It is finally the day they execute the plan. At first, Afridi gives the warden fake information about a riot about to happen in Block A. The warden sends all his guards to the block, leaving the Babylon area with only 2 of them. Ray sees the right time and starts a riot in the Babylon area. Soon everyone starts fighting in the place, and Ray, Emil, and Afridi take the opportunity to run to the top of the deck. The warden notices this and initiates a lockdown in the cargo. Before the 3 can reach the top, the doors are shut because of the lockdown. At the same time, Emil's men also arrive in their helicopters to save them. But inside the ship, the guards and the group get into a shootout. Afridi gets shot in the process and cannot move anymore. Ray quickly thinks of a plan and asks Emil to stay with Afridi while he goes to the control room and cuts the power. This way the doors to the top of the deck can reopen. After he leaves, Afridi asks Emil to leave without him because he is too injured to make it out alive. Emil reluctantly does what the man says. Sometime later, the guards get to Afridi and kill him, but at the same time Ray manages to shut the power down, helping Emil get on top of the deck. Emil runs to the helicopter, which is being shot by the guards. Soon he and his friends retaliate while waiting for Ray to come out. Ray, however, is stuck inside the ship in a tank. The guards are looking for him everywhere, so instead of getting out, he flushes himself into the sea. Emil's helicopter takes off and he sees Ray struggling in the water. To help him, he throws the helicopter's ladder below. Ray latches onto the ladder and fires at the oil tanks on the ship. This causes an explosion that kills the warden and his men. At last, the 2 safely fly away in the helicopter and land on the Moroccan coast. A car comes to pick them up, and to Ray's surprise, Jessica, the woman who had offered him the job in the prison, steps out of it. He is even more baffled when Emil says she is his daughter. It is then revealed that Emil is actually Mannheim, who everyone thought was his boss. He had lied about his identity so his enemies wouldn't kill him. Jessica knew her father was in prison, so she had to get Ray imprisoned to get him out. Before leaving, Jessica tells Ray that his business partner Lester got involved with the prison warden and demanded they keep Ray forever, so he was in fact betraying him. In the following scene we see Ray and Abigail together. Abigail informs him that Lester was offered a job as CEO of the prison if the prototype Ray was staying in proved to be inescapable. After knowing that Ray has escaped, Lester packs his bags to flee, but Hush and Abigail track him down and put Ray's revenge plan into action. Then we see Lester being attacked by Hush in a car. When the man wakes up, he finds himself still inside the car, but his car turns out to be in a massive cargo ship traveling to an unknown destination. Ray has taken his revenge in his own way.
And that's where the film ends. Write your thoughts about this movie in the comments. Also, please like this video and subscribe. This helps a lot.